I'm going to tell you how I get out of a creative rut, or any rut at all, as fast as possible. We all know the feeling, not wanting to start anything, not feeling inspired or motivated to create anything. I know I have the skills or the talent, or I have an idea, but I just can't get this drive to get out there and do it, or get in here and do it, or in here and do it. So here are 5 tips that work for me every time whenever I'm stuck in a rut, especially creatively. Step 1, just stop doing the thing. Just drop it. Stop writing, stop drawing, stop erasing and starting over again. Stop everything. Oftentimes, what we actually need from a piece of creative work that we're stuck on is just a little bit of distance and a little bit of time to relax. You might have heard that creativity is a process of flow. And when you're wrestling, when you're fighting, when you're resisting, for me personally, I find I've shifted into an outcome mindset and not a process mindset. When you're focused on outcome, you're exerting a level of control that is not conducive to creative flow at all. If you're in a position where you feel like you're trying to control what you're doing, and of course we all want to control what we're doing a little bit, but if you're trying to control it too much, beyond that creative threshold, the flow stops, the enjoyment goes away, and now you're just sort of wrestling and trying to make something out of nothing. We often resist dropping an idea, or we continue working despite the fact that we know we're not making as much progress, is because we have this scarcity mindset around inspiration or ideas. I'm feeling inspired, I should take advantage of it. Or, oh, if I give up this good idea, I don't know when the next idea is going to come from. We live in a world where we're constantly being bombarded with stimulation. At any given day, we meet a ton of people, hear a ton of different stories, and we also have our own lived experiences that we can draw from. There is plenty of inspiration. Don't worry, you'll get another idea. So stop doing that thing. Step 2, do that thing you've been putting off. You know what that thing is. There's a saying by William James that I absolutely love when it comes to procrastinating and putting off things that you know you should be doing. He said, "Nothing is so fatiguing like the eternal hanging on of an uncompleted task. Like that giant pile of mail, take out the garbage, make your bed, clean your bathroom, cook yourself a nice meal, call your mom." Personally, I find myself procrastinating on certain things when I'm unsure of the outcome. Like, what if I contest this parking ticket? Am I going to get charged more for contesting it? Or ignoring that giant pile of mail that I have been ignoring for far too long. And this ignoring of feelings, this ignoring of responsibilities, especially ones that aren't too urgent, and trying to immerse myself in the creative process as a way of avoiding those tasks, just builds anxiety. If you have things that you need to do that you've been putting off, they're going to start getting bigger and bigger in the back of your head. And they're going to leave less and less space for your creative juices to flow. If you're hoping for inspiration to come or for motivation to find you, it's going to come when there's space in your mind, not when it's filled with clutter. So in short, do the thing you've been procrastinating on doing, declutter your mind. Speaking of decluttering your mind, this is a tough one. Don't use your phone for the first 6 hours of the day. Okay, hear me out. There's science behind this. Not that there's science behind all of these, but this particular one I'm very sure of. Going on the phone first thing in the morning and using social media apps or checking your email hijacks your dopamine system. Dopamine can get depleted, and when we don't have enough, you might have a hard time staying focused on certain tasks or being motivated to do them. That's because dopamine is not just a neurotransmitter, but it's a neuromodulator of other neurotransmitters like serotonin and norepinephrine. Basically, all of these work together as a system, and they influence things like seeking pleasure, motivation, time management. They also have a huge influence on our mood, like our anxiety or our depression. You might have heard of things like dopamine detox, which is these periods of dopamine fasting that people have done online, whereby they get rid of any kind of stimulation that stimulates their dopamine system. While mostly debunked, the general idea is still very sound. Keep your dopamine levels at a consistent baseline, and you'll have consistent motivation and consistent mood. All of this is extremely useful for your creativity, but generally for a happy life as well. We are better positioned to create when there's less mental chatter going on in our minds, and we create from a place of clarity and flow. Bonus point, this is especially important if you have ADHD. Step 4, socialize or spend time with people. A person is a person because of other people. Desmond Tutu. Depending on the creative task that you're doing, you might be spending a lot of time on your own, minding your own experiences and delving into the imagination to pull out something that you think can resonate with other people. Now, personally speaking, if I spend too much time up here, things can get a little weird. I'm an extrovert, so people recharge me, and I have a social battery life of about 3 days. After that, I can get pretty depressed or pretty lonely or have a diminished sense of self because I get a lot of that from other people. We create for other people, not just for ourselves. We want our art to be seen by other people. So spending time with them is very logical. Step 5. Get moving. Look, I don't want to get too preachy about this, but get off your desk, I personally hate it when it's the end of the day and I've walked a total of 400 steps, and I know at least 290 of these have been to the bathroom or to the fridge. Moving is great for your brain, it's great for your health, it's great for your endorphins. It doesn't have to be really intense physical exercise, but even small things like going for a walk or walking to your groceries or going for a small bike ride is so crucial for your mental health and therefore for creating good art.
It's great out here. I love it. I feel so refreshed right now. This is really reinvigorating. I mean, look around. Wow.
Fun fact about ADHD, exercise was found to be one of the most effective treatments for ADHD symptoms. Considering ADHD is a dopamine deficiency disorder and that exercise helps with our dopamine system, it is no wonder that doing exercise is really great for our levels of motivation and is really good for creative flow. Bonus tip number 6, do a brain dump. What does that mean? It's not as gross as it sounds. Every morning, grab yourself a notebook or your journal and dump out all of the chatter that's happening in your brain. Get it out of your brain and onto the paper. In her book, The Artist's Way, Julia Cameron talks about an important exercise for creatives called morning pages, in which an artist would wake up and do 3 pages of stream of consciousness writing. Don't think about what you're writing, don't rationalize it, don't make it sound pretty, don't try to make it anything. Just get all of your thoughts and all of the chatter out of your brain. The purpose of the exercise is just to create space in your mind for inspiration to come. There you have it. 5 plus 1 bonus tip. If all of it can be summarized in one thing, it would be a phrase that I heard on a podcast called The Portfolio Life by Jeff Goins. And he said that thinking about the thing is not doing the thing. The point is to think less and spend more time doing. The purpose of all of these tips is to create space in your mind by reducing chatter and letting your subconscious mind come through and present what it wants to present. These tips have been extremely helpful for me, and if you have a similar system or you use these same tips, please let me know in the comments. And if you like this video or it brought you any value or any entertainment, please like it and subscribe. And I'll see you next time.